Hello mga ka-learners! It's another day to learn something new. Have you ever heard the saying, it is easy to be human, but it is hard to be humane? Being human means having or showing the qualities and limitations of people, especially the weaknesses, as opposed to machines or animals. Being humane, on the other hand, means being kind and sympathetic. It is actually considered as a step further than just being human. After all, hasn't it been said time and time again that making mistakes is human? Right? Well, it is. But we should always consider other people's feelings too. And that's where empathy and being humane come in. This lesson will tell you what empathy is and a lot more. It will also tell you some ways on how to show empathy. In this lesson, we will define what empathy is and describe situations that illustrate empathy. Human beings generally have the ability to empathize. This is the ability to share other people's feelings. When somebody is told that they're acting like an animal, they are probably showing aggressiveness or they are lacking self-control. These are characteristics of animals who are governed by instinct alone. But human beings do not and should not act on instincts alone. They should not only live to survive, but also to nurture relationships with other human beings. Empathy is similar to putting oneself in another situation. It is thinking of consequences in another person's point of view. The word empathy came from the Greek word empathia, meaning passion or affection. Empathy is not only shown verbally. At times, it is even more effective when manifested non-verbally. Thus the saying, actions speak louder than words. Empathy is communicated by specific behavioral traits such as listening attentively without interrupting, which communicates receptiveness. Saying things like, I'm with you, which communicates rapport, or paraphrasing, which communicates understanding. Non-verbal behaviors such as tone of voice, facial expression, head nodding, and posture also show empathy. But what are the thoughts and feelings behind these behaviors? In the case of empathic behavior, the motive is a desire to help other people. Empathic people have the want and ability to help other people in solving their problems. They also show empathy by listening, showing support, paraphrasing, reflecting, and nodding their heads. These gestures demonstrate their interest and willingness to help other people confronted with problems. Let's study the following scenarios. Claire's dog just passed away. Which statement illustrates empathy? You should not cry over your dog. It was an ugly dog anyway. I understand how you feel about your dog. I'm sure you will miss him, but the best we can do is remember him fondly. Matt has been voted as class president. Which statement illustrates empathy? Oh yeah? So what? Congratulations, Matt! I'm happy for you! I hope you do well as class president. Jane was crying because she failed her exams. Which statement illustrates empathy? What? You failed? How come? This was an easy exam. Don't cry, Jane. You can study harder for the next exam. It is also related to the word sympathy, which is an understanding of and feeling for the sadness or suffering of others. This is often shown in expressions of sorrow or pity. From the definitions of empathy and sympathy, you can see that they are similar. Although you can say that sympathy is more closely related to pity, while empathy is not. Let's check these scenarios. Scene 1, 2 women talking. Woman 1. My daughter Ava hasn't been the same lately. She's been acting weird. Woman 2. Why do you say so? Woman 1. Well, she just seems a little moody these past few days. Woman 2. She's just stressed out, I think. Why don't you just let it pass? I'm sure you two will be okay again soon. Scene 2. Two girls talking. Martha. Are you okay, Casey? Casey. I think so. I'm really going to miss my dad. He was just okay yesterday. How could this happen? What have we done to deserve this? Martha. It's nobody's fault. Nobody's punishing anybody. This is a natural part of life. I'll always be here for you. You can always count on me. The scenarios you just saw illustrates the difference between empathy and sympathy. Which scenario do you think shows empathy? If you said scenario 1, then you are right. The first scenario demonstrated empathy. The woman was putting herself in the shoes of Ava so that Ava's mother would understand why Ava has been acting weird. Because of this, a possible conflict among them was avoided. The second situation, on the other hand, showed sympathy. The girl was sympathizing with her friend over the death of a loved one. She clearly showed pity toward her friend, thereby transforming what would have been just empathy to sympathy. Let's check what we learned about empathy. Which of the following illustrate empathy? Number 1. Not ordering a lot of food for yourself when you are in a restaurant with somebody who cannot afford to buy even a piece of bread. Number 2. Turning down the volume of your music player to avoid disturbing your neighbors. Number 3. Lending money to a friend who is in need. Number 4. Not waiting in line to use a public telephone. Number 5. Helping an old lady cross the street. Number 6. Buying extravagant clothes despite your mother's request for you to save money. Let's compare our answers. The statements that illustrate empathy are: not ordering a lot of food for yourself when you are in a restaurant with somebody who cannot afford to buy even a piece of bread. Turning down the volume of your music player to avoid disturbing your neighbors. Lending money to a friend who is in need. Helping an old lady cross the street. Hope you got all these statements right. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. Empathy is the ability to share and understand and feel another person's feelings. Being human means having or showing the qualities and limitations of people, especially the weaknesses, as opposed to God, animals, or machines. Being humane means being kind and sympathetic. The word empathy came from the Greek word empathia, meaning passion or affection. Sympathy is an understanding of and feeling for the sadness or suffering of others, often shown in expressions of sorrow or pity. Empathy is communicated by specific behavioral traits such as listening attentively without interrupting, saying things like, "I'm with you," or paraphrasing. Nonverbal behaviors such as tone of voice, facial expression, head nodding, and posture also affect impressions of empathy. There it is, mga ka-learners! We have learned about empathy and how to show empathy and sympathy in different situations. Till next time!